Hello, everyone. I'm back from my vacation, and I thought I would do a book haul where I show you some of the books that I received. But before I do that, I would like to just go over my general thoughts about the trip. Well, overall, it was better than I expected, even though traveling can be exhausting because mainly because I don't sleep very well. On the entire trip, I never got 8 hours of sleep at the most. Seven, very often maybe only four or five, and then some nights two or three. But but again, overall, it was a good trip. I got some writing done, wrote some passages that I really enjoyed, and so overall, it was a good trip. Now, of course, this is going to be the last summer vacation that my family and I are going to take for some time because we usually take two vacations every year. We take a long vacation, which is could be a week or more, and then we take a shorter vacation, usually the first week of December, which is about 3 or 4 days, where we go to Florida, Destin, Florida, and that's a very relaxing trip because it's very familiar, and we basically know what's going to happen, and I find that trip to be very relaxing. And so we're going to do that in December. Then in next October, we're going to go to Universal Studios, which I haven't been since 2010, mainly because my parents really want to take my niece and nephew while they're still children. And then hopefully in 2025, we'll go to New England, which that's a trip I've been wanting to take for a really long time. Originally, we were going to do that next year. I wish we still were, but that's been pushed and moved to 2025, which hopefully we'll get to do. When you're talking about a trip that's 2 years away, it can be difficult to determine that, and so and then and so that will hopefully be in October of 2025, and that's when I'll get to maybe go to the birthplace of Herman Melville and see because I've always wanted to take a trip where where I can go to places that have a lot of literary history, which I normally don't get to do, and so those are my thoughts on the trip itself. But here are the books that I received, that I bought. I bought The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories, which I already had a version of this by Washington Irving, but it's a very old book, a very rare book, with some of the pages were torn out, so I wanted a kind of a newer version of this. And then I got The Haunting of Hill House, which is, of course, based off of a story written in the 50s, a book written in the 50s, and it was turned into a movie with The Haunting, several different movie versions. And I thought since I was in Minnesota near Lake Superior, which can be very haunting, that such a book is appropriate. And then I also got John Steinbeck's The Moon is Down, which I don't have a lot of books by John Steinbeck, even though I did read some of them while I was in school. But I thought I would get this because I wanted something. I've always I want more books that are a little on the shorter side, that are between, let's say, 100 and something, 200 and something pages, that I can read within a week or two, because I find those are the best kinds of books, and I don't think enough of them are written because they're longer than a short story, so they give you depth, but they're not so long that you're going to spend months reading them, and there's usually a lot of fluff. And I also got a biography of Charles Dickens, the mystery of Charles Dickens, which the author Charles Dickens really fascinates me. So I really am going to enjoy reading about his life and his illustrious career, and and how he succeeded as an author, and about his reading tours and Victorian London in general. So I've been wanting to order a biography of Charles Dickens for a while. So this was an unexpected find, especially since I found this not in the bookstore, but I found it at a trading post in Grand Marais, where they sell a lot of different things. So it was really surprising to find something like this there. And then finally, I got um, The Romantic Poets, which is a selection of poems from Wordsworth, Blake, Byron, Shelley, and Keats. And I already have editions of Wordsworth and Byron's poetry, but I thought it would be interesting to get a selection from different poets to get a sampling of the period, because I really do love the Romantic poets, because I think that they wrote with such passion and such intensity that they really inspire the imagination, and they bring out a lot of vivid imagery. And I really love and admire the Romantic poets. And I was looking for a book like this specifically. And the thing is, I kind of ran into an awkward situation, because while I was in the bookstore, I bought those other books, and because I already only had so much cash on me, and I didn't want to use my debit card, so I bought those other books. And then my sister and I had looked most places in the bookstore, but then my sister told me about this, which is what I was really looking for. But I passed this up because I thought at first glance it looked like a journal. It didn't look, and the poetry section, a lot of them looked like journals. They didn't look like books. So I passed it up, and I was so embarrassed. But thankfully, my sister bought me this book. It's unfortunate, because if I had seen and bought this book first, which is more expensive, I might have not bought some of those other books, like especially The Moon is Down and possibly The Haunting of Hill House. I may not have bought. So I actually ran out of money shopping quite early, and that might not have happened if I had spotted this first. So that was an error on my part. But this is worth the expense, though, because one of the reasons why I like reading the Romantic poets is because I think I can learn a lot from them in terms of how to write elegantly and poetically and romantically. So those are the books that I acquired on this trip, so I hope you enjoyed this video.